off and allowed me to go off on a bad tangent occasionally. So there was a fair amount of improvisation in Farscape. In Stargate, I think I did it once. What did he say? I got a couple of lectures, and so I cut it way back. Now, most of the Stargate stuff was scripted. I think I had, you know, in Farscape, there was probably 4, 5, 6, 20 occasions in an episode where I might say something that wasn't on the page. Stargate, I did it in the first episode I shot where I went bullets bounce. I couldn't quite understand why someone would shoot a Teflon-coated weapon, you know, bullet at a stone wall. I don't know about you kids, my daddy taught me how to shoot, you know, because damn it, that thing is going to come back at you. You learn not to do that when you grew up deer hunting, okay?
Yeah.
By the way, doesn't dove season start very soon? In the South, man, come on! Labor Day weekend is known in my house as opening day.
Yep.
Not in my house in California. My wife doesn't put up with that. No, so, you know, I was thinking, you know, there's a stone wall right there, and I felt compelled to say something about it. I just couldn't let that one go. Otherwise, you know, my grandpappy would have hided my ass for letting that one go. But for the most part, with Stargate, I stuck to the script. Gary, on the other hand, was notorious. That whole...
No, I always stuck to my word.
Yeah.
Never strayed from my word.
He'd be out there going Chevron 12. Incoming.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I got for you.
Okay. Next question.
I was wondering, sort of for everybody, to go through all three of you.
So to speak.
I know that Colin and Ben have and are currently writing, in the process of writing scripts and stuff. I was wondering how Going Homer is, what you've heard about the web series, and Colin, again, if you have anything else down the pipeline, like your movie that you wrote, directed, and acted in all at once.
Thank you. I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, well, Centigrade. Oh, thank you. For those that aren't in the loop, really quickly, I made a short film. Well, it was actually a film that just needed to be made. It just happened to be short, and it was more kind of as a calling card for me, so that I'm just not always standing on a piece of tape saying, you know, yes, Mr. President, or whatever the hell it is. Anyway, the film did very, very well. We not only qualified, but we actually made the short list for an Academy Award nomination this year, which is really, really cool. But for any of you short filmmakers out there, or anybody who thinks that you have to make a feature or anything like that, it was really, really cool because we made this 15-minute short, which is available at my table for $20. No, but we ended up, MGM has taken an interest in it, and they've kind of taken it under their wing for the time being, and we've rebranded it. It's now called Dark Karma, and it'll be the first television show in history that is devoted entirely to the concept of karmic justice. So, which is pretty cool. So instead of the good guy getting the bad guy in your favorite TV show, instead the thread of comeuppance and dark irony is interwoven into the dark deed itself. So that looks very, very promising. There's still 1,000 hoops you got to jump through with this kind of stuff, but the nice thing is that thing is moving forward. And I've written 13 episodes and all that kind of stuff, and it's looking very, very promising. So keep an eye out for it.
Going Homer, which is a miniseries that I have in development at Sci-Fi, we've gone through what's commonly known as development hell. Sci-Fi's been wonderful, but nonetheless, doing a miniseries is a very expensive proposition. We have we have the complete 40-page outline, which Sci-Fi loves, and we're in negotiations to get the money Sci-Fi has to get the money from other sources to make the miniseries. So until they lock down those secondary sources, God, I'm all about the money, aren't I? Like, yay,
another
Stargate, going over. So anyway, until we jump that hurdle, it's sitting there. I haven't written anything on it for 4 months, and I'm waiting for them to say, go ahead and write the scripts. Because after doing an outline for a year and a half, the script is already in your head. You just want to be paid to get it out. I have 2 other projects. Actually, I have more than 2 other projects which are currently in various stages of script. So I am still writing, but as all of these things go, it's a question of where is it going, and when is it going to go into production. So I don't like to talk about stuff. The Going Homer stuff I never even talked about until Sci-Fi mentioned it. I'm not a big fan of talking about stuff that's in development, because if you go on imdb.com, you'll see a billion things in development. I like to be a little more excited and say, yes, we're in production, before I talk about the other stuff that I have.
And I'm writing a book about myself. I've done enough, I've pulled enough boneheaded moves in my life that I've just told stories around the dinner table. My wife finally said, you gotta write these down. So I've got about 250 pages written of this book that...
Is it titled Magically Delicious?
No.
Yeah, some of you got that reference.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's the working title is based on my boneheaded moves. It's called Not Savvy to the Process. And that was given to me by a guy who was painting up my house, and I told him that I would stain the doors that I bought, and he thought that I couldn't do it, and I was like, how hard is that? And it turns out it's really difficult. And he talked me out of it, and he left a note to another painter that I happened to come across, and he said, yeah, just ignore the owner. He's a television star, and he's also not savvy to the process. Basically saying he doesn't get life. So that's my tentative title. I'm working on that.
So we all got stuff going on.
In fact, I was looking for the title. I thought, what title? Because when you write a book, it's like you gotta, even if it's of a bunch of separate short stories, humorous incidents, you still have to have kind of like a rough thread. And when the guy said that, I was like, oh, there's my thread. So, there you go. Next question.
I feel kind of weird asking this for a show that ran 10 years, but I mean for...
What's it about?
What was the name of it?
Which wormhole show was that?
Some kind of Star Wars or something, I don't know. Anyway, but with Gary and Colin, I mean, we didn't get to see your characters all that much, just popping up here and there, and with Ben, I mean, we didn't, have you grace our presence till season 9, and first off, anybody who has to take over for Richard Dean Anderson, my hat's off to you, sir. Very good. Now, my question is, over your time, is there anything you did not get to do with your respective characters that you wish you could have?
I'll let Gary go with that one first. He's been there the longest.
I would have loved to have, oh, just as an aside, when you mentioned Colin and I, because we'd both been on it, like, what season did you come in?
2.
So you were in season 2, but he was Major Davis, and when I first got a name, I was Sergeant Davis. And we also had Don Davis in there, and I asked Brad Wright, I said, so when you're writing characters, do you just blank out and hit the Davis button on your keyboard? And so I ended up, so he stayed as Major Davis, and I went through like 10 name changes. So I basically designed a t-shirt here that says the evolution of Harry Man. And it's the chimp is the technician, and then Davis, and it shows how it became Walter Harriman after 10 years. The one thing I wanted to do was actually physically go through the gate. That's what I would have loved to. I would have loved to have been seen.